That's a fairy stone.
Oh, nice. Good morning and welcome to our special Saturday edition of Journeys with Judy. Now, my executive producer and creative director, Miss Jennifer Bucko, has instructed me to inform you that this is a recording today. We are being nudged, urged, pushed, kicked off by Facebook during all our lives, so we are investigating and moving toward a podcast setup. So until then, I think we're going to try to start recording the show and then loading it for you to view right after we're finished. So we are here today in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania with Wendy Harvill of the Light of the Angels. We're so excited to be back here. Your space is so beautiful and the energy in here is just amazing.
Thank you. It's really nice to have you guys here, and thanks for inviting me on.
Yes, yay. Absolutely. Well, you know, there are many questions I've had. I've known you for how many years now?
I don't even know. It's been several years.
It's been several years. And it's always interesting doing these interviews with people that we've known for a while because we still wind up finding out information that we never knew.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited to find out because I know you got some little secrets in there. I'm excited to find out some things about you. So we start off nice and easy.
Okay.
Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Howard County, Maryland, and we moved around quite a bit. And I was pretty much raised in Howard County, Maryland as well.
So you just moved around different parts of Howard County?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. Laurel, Jessup, Columbia, all those places down there.
Did you stay any place pretty long?
No, we moved a lot.
Okay.
Moved a lot. I mean, I also lived in other states too. So, like Missouri. Apparently, I lived in Tennessee for a little while when I was a baby. Who knew?
Oh.
I just found that out about myself.
I heard a Southern twang.
Yeah, well, I was raised by a Southerner.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a half brother. I have step siblings. I don't have any full siblings, but yeah, there were 5 of us as we were growing up.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long were you ever an only child?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
So where do you fall in line, age-wise?
So my oldest brother, who's my half brother, is 11 years older than I am.
Okay.
And then I have 2 step siblings in between, and then there's me, and then there's my younger brother who passed away a little over a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So do any of them live local? Are they close?
No. No, I moved up to Pennsylvania, I don't know, 30 years ago. And they're in Maryland, they're in Florida, they're in Georgia.
Just scattered around.
Virginia, yeah.
Okay. So how would you best describe your childhood?
It was filled with opportunities to learn and grow. You know, I have...
Okay.
The work that I've done over the last 15 years or so has really helped to heal a lot of the stuff that I went through as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't look back at it now and feel like it's a wounding anymore, which is nice. But, you know, there was abuse, there was addiction, there was, you know, being left on my own for a lot of the time. But again, you know, even as a little kid, I learned who I am through that whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And were you always able to look at it that way?
Interestingly enough, well, first my mom always used to call me Little Miss Independent. And I just remember even being really young, looking around in, I don't know, like, the bigger me, thinking, what is going on here? Right? So
I keep hearing, I am not my experience. I am not my experience.
So, like, even as young as, like, 7, 8 years old, I would just go off into the woods by myself. There were a few days in my 8 and 9-year-old life where I was actually homeless, sleeping on people's back porches.
Wow.
family dynamics. Everybody split up for a while, and I went to live with strangers, just because that's the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, my little 8, 9, 10-year-old self really just wanted to build a hut for myself deep in the forest.
Right.
Couldn't do that. But yeah, so pretty much.
Wow.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So in all that, do you have a fondest childhood memory?
You know, I was thinking about this because I knew you were going to ask me. And overall now, I'm super happy about everything that happened when I was a kid. But
Which is a testament to how much you've healed.
thank you. Thank
Absolutely.
you. I feel really good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all feels pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like these little badges of honor, right?
Mm-hmm.
But fondest memory, family memory here, Christmas mornings. It was so great. And even leading up to Christmas mornings, like my stepfather, who has passed away now, he had a problem with addiction and there was a lot of abuse there, but man, could he do up a Christmas. It was so good. They would even use like the old ivory soap flakes, and he would build this platform and put this big elaborate train system up and sprinkle ivory snowflakes, and my mom would make little houses out of pasta boxes, and she'd get that see-through cellophane for the windows, and she'd put like little lights in. It was so fun.
Wow.
It was so fun. So yeah, that, I mean, there were plenty. But
Right.
yeah,
That's a really good memory.
it was awesome.
Yeah. Huh. All right. So you've touched on, but what was challenging for you as a child? You've touched on that quite a bit already, but is there anything else in there? I mean, with all of that moving around and just, you know, you didn't really have a foundation.
I didn't.
No. So how did you function in school? How did you do?
Not
I
well.
was gonna say, being out in the
No.
world when you have that safety.
Mhm.
How are you?
I changed schools a lot, and in elementary school, that is not easy.
No.
So, and I was always, I don't know, I was very shy and a little angry.
Bet.
And so kids didn't take to me very well.
Well, and then you're always the new girl.
Always the new girl, right? So there was a lot of that, feeling isolated, shunned, all of that. So that was really challenging. And there are sometimes even now where if I get a little hit of, oh, they don't like me, which is okay, because like I've healed a lot of that.
Right.
I can just sort of trace it back to them. I'm like, okay, this is just another little layer of little Wendy who needs to be healed right now. I know, right?
Those layers.
Those layers.
Oh. How about as a teenager?
Yeah. You know, I fell into, like in middle school, I became really depressed.
I can imagine.
Super depressed. Like, I can see pictures of myself, what there are of them. My eyes are mostly closed, and I had put on a lot of weight, and so, but that's also the time, first of all, when I kind of stopped going to school. I had a lot of absences in middle school. But then I would sink into learning about, and I didn't even know it at the time, but ascended masters.
Oh.
All of a sudden, like, Toth would come in, or, you know, other ascended masters would come in, and I would just teach myself about them.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know what I was doing,
Right.
but that was cool. And then, of course, there's my favorite Yoda. So I
Of
spent
course.
a lot of time trying to use the Force. So that depression and, you know, being too sick to go to school gave me, I don't know, it was just some sort of a weird foundation to kind of sink into myself and turn inwardly.
Now, the more you learned about the Ascended Masters, did you start to feel lighter? Did it start to pull you out of your depression a little bit? Did it help in any way?
You know, that didn't happen until I got into high school.
Okay.
It really didn't. And when I got into high school, that was my first time looking around, realizing that, and this is probably from my middle school years, looking around, realizing that I could create my own reality.
Wow.
I will tell you what, I was like,
wow.
I was so done with being the shy introvert who nobody liked. And I decided one day in the 9th grade, I'm gonna pick my friends. They're gonna wanna be my friends. I'm gonna decide what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be outgoing, I'm gonna be friendly. And I even selected my boyfriend out of all the students that were standing in line waiting for the bus. I'm like,
I'll take him.
yeah, and it worked.
That's awesome.
It worked, yeah. So that was such a revelation.
So all of that played out in high school.
All that played out in high school.
Now, how did you go from being shy one day to I'm going to be outgoing today?
Dude, I don't know. The Angels,
Yeah.
my team of light. I have no idea, but
That's awesome.
there was just some sort of a transition there.
Did people look at you like, where did she come from?
You know, you go from middle school, and then high school's a big, whole different group of
That is
people.
very true. Yeah.
Right? And yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty freaking awesome when
Wow.
I realized that.
I hear people saying that Wendy really came out of her shell.
Yeah.
Summer did a good thing for her.
Right. It was that was cool.
So you had some lighter, brighter years then.
I
High
did.
School? Good.
Absolutely.
Now, did you get involved in groups or anything in high school? Were you a part of the band?
I
drama?
gave it a shot, but I wasn't that kind of girl.
They didn't have
no.
an Ascended Masters Club, so.
They did. They did not. But you know, I tried with like the pep squad or something like that. I don't even know what it was called now, and that didn't work out.
Okay.
And I wasn't a great student in high school either.
Mhm.
I kid you not, I skipped so much school, I forgot my schedule when I came back.
Wow.
Yeah,
That-
yeah.
that's
And when
pretty
I
deep.
started driving, it was just a whole
Forget
new
about
world.
it.
I used to go in Columbia, and I don't know if it's still in Columbia, but there was the Meriwether Post Pavilion.
Mhm, it's
And
still
they
there.
used to have the Maryland Renaissance Festival there as well.
Yes.
And when it was off season, that's where I would go. And I would go and I would just find a big old field, and I'd sit in the field and lay there all day, or I'd wander around in the woods. Yeah, and then I did loop a bunch of my friends into cutting school with me and trying to find our way to the beach, and that didn't really work out. But yeah, so
Now, how was your relationship with your mother through all this?
you know, my mom was a single mom at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and she had been through a lot, and she worked a lot, and it was good. She did the best that she possibly could,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a bit of a handful.
I can imagine.
So was my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was good though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, you know, we all do the best we can.
exactly.
You know, we work
Yeah.
with what we have, and when we know better, we do better.
That's right. That's right. And it's easy to look back too and know that now.
Yes, absolutely.
Truly know that, not only about ourselves but about other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you make it out of high school by the skin of your teeth. Then what happens?
Well, while I was still in high school, I knew I wasn't a good student, right?
Right.
Even though now I teach classes and
I
stuff,
know, right?
so, which is really weird. But I didn't see myself as a student. And so I decided, since I knew I could create my own reality, that since I didn't have the means to go to college, didn't really see myself sinking into the job scene anywhere, I decided I was going to find a husband and have a child, and that was gonna
Solve it
be
all.
set. And so I did.
Wow.
And it was awesome. And so I got pregnant when I was like 17. My son was born before I was 18. And there I was, this very young mother.
So did you get married?
I did. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also got married before I was 18. So
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. So had you graduated yet or no?
It was all sort of mixed up in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we don't go out into the workforce. We are working as a mom.
Stay-at-home mom.
We all know that stay-at-home mom is work.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
24/7 for
Yeah.
the rest of your life.
Right. But then there are boundaries when they get older.
Yeah. Yes. So talk about that. How was that? I mean, you're a young mom.
Yeah.
And you had issues feeling like you fit in before. So what reality did you create now? Were you able to hold on to that fact that you can create your reality?
That was a turning point for me because I was again isolated. I was with my first husband for I think 12 years, and he was a really good guy, right? But not so good a guy that eventually I wasn't like, well, I gotta do something else here. So I think that was all divinely designed as well. So yeah, there was a lot of isolation. About 5 years after my son was born, I decided the time was to have another baby. So my daughter was born, which was amazing. Both really good kids. And, I just went on. I was the homeroom mom. I was the brownie leader, and for my daughter, taking my son to karate practice, all that. So I had moved into suburban mom for a while. But then at the same time, I would look in the mirror at myself and say really horrible things to myself because I didn't like who I was. I didn't feel good. I was depressed again. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, so I was really achy all the time. But I think, disease, that for me was just based on energy. And I know that it's not that way for most people, but for me it was just, I was so internally kind of wrecked that it just came out in physical discomfort. Yeah. So yeah, that went on for a while, and then something clicked in again, and I decided the time had come for a change.
Okay, so when you committed to this change, then what did your life look like?
Well, that's when I met my current husband. He was amazing. And I had a moment when I'm like, okay, my first marriage, in my mind, when I decided to go that route, was like all business for me. Taking that bull by the horns. And then my second relationship, I realized it was completely about love and connection and support. We didn't have a thing. We were starting over fresh. And it changed my whole life.
Now, did you manifest him as well?
Oh yeah, we manifested each other.
Consciously manifesting this person, or was it him specifically? Because a lot of people out there are looking for that person, so they want to know how'd you do that.
I decided what I wanted in someone.
Okay.
And when he showed up, I was like, oh yeah, this feels really good.
It's like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Hello.
And my kids they weren't adults or anything, so I had a 10-year plan. I was going to wait until my daughter was 17, 18 years old. The universe had other ideas in mind, and then it was like that ball, that ball starts rolling, and everything falls into place, especially when it's within divine order. It all falls into place.
It doesn't mean there's not struggle along the way.
Absolutely.
Because letting go is hard.
It is.
It's hard. Because, with what you hold on to, there's safety in that.
Absolutely.
So it's trusting.
Right?
That everything is in alignment and divine order. But yeah. Excellent. Okay. So, you have this new relationship, this new marriage. You have this new situation. Now there's a stepdad. How did that go with the kids?
I think it went really well.
Okay.
I mean, my husband has been through a lot growing up himself, and he had a lot of years of self-healing, and he brought that to me as well. I mean, the things he helped me to heal. And so he was just really good with the kids. He, I don't know, it was just, it felt otherworldly to me because it wasn't something that I was familiar with at all.
Mm-hmm.
Kind, patient, loving. Yeah, so it went really well. He's still very supportive, but there's no BS.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's that guy. He's got this in the garage. He has like this little needlepoint thing in a frame that says the BS stops here, but the caring doesn't, and that's who he is.
Sums him up right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it really does.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you personally, you meet this man that is kind, gentle, caring, loving. He is supporting you in your journey of healing.
Mm-hmm.
You have said that you became spiritually aware, kind of, in middle school, but you really didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You become a manifesting genius in high school. Exactly, nailed it. So here you find yourself in a space with a partner that is completely and 100% supportive of you working on yourself. So where did that take you in your spiritual journey?
Man, once I realized that it was safe for me to just let somebody else see all of me, and he was extraordinarily supportive, I realized all I had to do was say, oh, how about we go to this holistic expo? And he's not, like, he's got his own spirituality, right?
Right.
There are a lot of similarities, but this isn't his thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, all right, let's go. And he would take me to the local, crystal shop, metaphysical shop, support me there. He just supported me all along, and step by step, and encouraging me as well.
Mm-hmm.
That was no small thing. When I first thought about branching out and starting to work with other people, he was the one that just kind of very gently, strengthened me to that, because I needed that outside support so that my inside ability to be strong to what I wanted to do, that I would feel it, that it wouldn't be all buried.
Yes. Yeah. And, the big word there is safety. Your foundation, there was nothing solid about your foundation at all. It was all about you figuring things out on your own. Miss Independent.
That's true.
And then here this partner shows up that is not only safe for you to be 100% you, but allows you to then feel safe with yourself. Wow, what a gift.
What a gift. What
Yeah.
a blessing.
What a gift.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so early in the show you said 15 years. So are you saying your spiritual journey began 15 years ago?
I feel like it did. I mean, I
Like
kind
intentionally?
of lose. Yeah, I kind of lose track now because, like, I don't know, all time is now. So that's what I'm going to blame it on. But I
only have the moment.
Everything hasn't been peaches and cream, right? I had to get a job when we first started, and sometimes, like, I had some really cool jobs and I had some really stressful jobs.
Okay, so what have you done in the workforce?
Lots of little things, but one of the big jobs that I manifested was
Genius.
I saw in the paper that they were looking, back when people looked at classifieds in paper, there was a local department store looking for loss prevention detectives.
Ooh.
I'm like,
I love it.
So I'm like, I'm gonna get that job. So I just, pulled myself, no experience
I was gonna say, you
whatsoever.
got no experience.
Nothing. So I went and I interviewed, and she really liked me. She's like, I could teach you this. I said, yay! So that worked out really well. And I will tell you, that loss prevention job that I had, and we had like this, our loss prevention office had like 33 small CCTV black and white cameras, and the the sticks to control the cameras and all the buttons and everything. I picked it up really fast, and that was the time when I realized I could see a person's energy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that was huge for me.
That's so cool.
Like, they would walk in, and this is a black and white CCTV camera.
Uh-huh.
And, like, without judging, I could
You
still
just knew.
see. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it was really cool, Judy, because, like, company-wide, and this is like a store that's around here, right? All over the place around here. Company-wide, very soon, I was third highest in apprehensions. And, like, whereas my coworkers were focusing on, like, teenagers and stuff like that, I just let my intuitive sight guide me. So I was bringing in all kinds of people, and they're like, what made you look at her? And I'm like, I don't know, it just looked like that's where she was.
That is so cool.
It was
That's
really,
so cool.
that was awesome.
That's like a whole new line of work for people in our community. Think about that. Ooh, his energy says he's desperate. Well, keep an eye on him.
And so here's the other part of that, right?
Wow.
So I could see this,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had to go through all the steps to make sure that I made a good, clean apprehension.
Right.
And then I'd bring them up to the office, and then that's when, like, the big old compassionate part of myself clicked in. It wasn't up to me whether or not they were going to be arrested.
Right.
But then, like, I'm sitting there talking to them, and they're scared, and they're upset, and then you just kind of, you bring peace to them.
Uh-huh.
Like, look, I know you made a mistake. I totally get it. And I know that there are reasons for people to want to take things, right? You might not have very much money. You've got a kid's birthday. I totally get that, right? So we just had some balance,
Yeah.
right? And I truly feel like all of the people that I brought up and this happened with left feeling okay.
I was gonna say that's
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Instead of you berating them and making them feel worse
yeah,
about it,
no.
it was you were like compassionate and caring and
Mm-hmm.
totally unexpected, I'm sure,
Absolutely.
from where they were sitting. So they walk out of there thinking, well, that was the best apprehension I've ever had. If I'm gonna get caught, I want to get caught by that lady.
Yeah, well, and so that's a really good point, right? Because my ego wasn't involved in it.
No.
And I think if somebody's going to do it, they need to know there are people watching. You might want to make different choices.
Right.
Find a different way. I don't know, something like that.
That's so cool. How long did you do that?
I did that for a little over 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then I decided I wanted to make more money, so here's this manifesting thing again, right? And so I was out of that job and wrote down, like, I learned this thing when I was a kid about manifesting from a televangelist, about tracing your hand on a paper and writing your little prayer inside the traced hand. And then he wanted us to mail it in, which I probably did when I was 12 or whatever. But so I did that only with my adult perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote down that I wanted to be hired for a job that I could do and make at least $500 a week. And a few weeks later, I saw an ad in the paper looking for a receptionist at a periodontist office. I didn't even know what periodontics were at the time.
I love the fact that you just left it wide open.
Wide open.
I love that.
Yeah. I called, got the interview, got the job. $500 a week.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I love it. So just in the past couple of weeks, I've realized the limitations I've put on myself. For you to just be like, boop, everything else is up to you. I need to make $500 a week.
Yeah, doesn't matter what.
I'm open to whatever it is.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. I'm not stripping. I'm not hooking. Those things are off the table. But
Yeah, so
wow.
So that job, though, came with a lot of stress.
Okay.
A lot of stress. And so that is where I really started to reach outside myself for support, to learn about who I am spiritually, reaching out to, spiritual advisors, teachers, started buying all kinds of books because I knew that at this point I needed to find some comfort within. And it couldn't just all be about whatever it was I was bringing to that office. And I was there for like 8-9 years. It was a long time.
Oh, wow.
That was my last job out in the workaday world.
Okay. Workaday.
Yeah.
I love it.
And gosh, I don't even know. I probably left there like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. But, so yeah, that's where that shift came in. It all, I kid you not, it's like it all falls into alignment. It's all in line. Even, even decisions that I made for myself, or things that I manifested for myself that might have been like not exactly on my path.
That's what I was gonna say. Were you always spot on in manifesting, or did you manifest some stuff and you were like, oh God, how'd I end up here?
Exactly.
Okay.
100%. But here's the thing, though. It's all, like, I learned so much about myself in all of those situations.
Now, in that moment, did you acknowledge that you manifested that too?
Oh, yeah.
You were that aware. It just amazes me that you've been so aware. I mean, a lot of us fall completely asleep, or we completely shut things down because we know that it makes us different from others.
Right.
Whereas you were like, bring it.
I think that goes back to when I was a kid, right? Looking around, not feeling like I fit in with my family at all.
Right.
And having to be in this container of Wendy and relying on myself.
But that's what I'm saying. You went within. Whereas
absolutely.
I know, speaking from personal experience, you do what you got to do to fit in.
Right.
Instead of going within, I did what I had to do to fit in.
Yeah.
So that is a heightened sense of awareness for you at such a young age.
It's...
And then it just continued to grow and evolve.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, so you have this highly stressful job. It's paying you what you need to make. So that is what gives you the kick in the butt to start looking outside of yourself.
That's right.
So you went to books. You went to spiritual mentors.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, was a lot of people that join us are kind of new to the journey, or they're feeling stuck. Any books you could recommend?
Boy, one that really opened my eyes and was The Lineage of the Codes of Light by Jesse Iante. I'm probably not pronouncing her last name correctly. But that really brought into focus for me, like, lifelines, life streams, light, just how we're all connected, and the light codes that are within each of us, and how it just moves out and affects like all of your incarnations, all of the collective, everything. So that was a biggie for me.
Now, so spiritually you've always been in touch. Have you ever had, I don't want to say issues, but issue is the word that keeps coming up. Have you ever had issue with religion?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So I grew up in a Christian house. Well, my mom was Christian. And I went to Pentecostal churches and stuff like that. And I felt a lot of resistance. So much so that, like, there was one time where the pastor was just like glaring at me from the pulpit because I was glaring back at him, and I didn't like to go to church. It didn't fit with me. That being said, back a little bit further, earlier when I was like around that 8-9-year-old, I decided it was time for me to get baptized. So I walked myself down to the church at the end of the street, which I had never been to, because I knew that they were doing baptisms, and they baptized me.
Wow.
So, I don't know, man.
I just see you kicking the door open from your house, walking down to your church.
I told my mom, I'm going down to get baptized. She had like a house full of kids. She's like, so it was just me.
Go ahead, Wendy, go play.
So yeah, while I had a resistance to organized religion and carried that throughout my entire childhood, it just wasn't. Christianity didn't fit in with me. But I will tell you now, now that I've healed that part in me that made me really resistant to it, and I kind of feel like it's because there's a big part of me that thinks that the stories might not be accurate, right? But now, when I connect with Ascended Master Jesus and Divine Mother Mary, I'm feeling them as their embodiment of divinity, not as, surrounded by the dogma, what I grew up with. So yeah, even though I totally respect, honor, and support anyone's religious beliefs, views, any of that, or non, it's all very personal. It's all very personal, yeah.
All right. Cool. Okay, so how did the Light of the Angels come to be? So, okay, hold on. They're telling me to go back a little bit. You have your job for 8 years. You decide you're going to quit. Why? What happened to make you go there? What had you manifest next?
So I realized that it was really just stressing me out physically. And somebody that I work with said, if you have to set up protections around yourself every day to go to work, is that really the place that you want to go work every day?
Could you say that again for our friends?
If you have to set up protections around yourself every day to go to work, is that really the place that you want to spend your time?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah. And so that really settled in on me. And I was making good money. This was 8 years later. I was making lots more.
Right.
And I just decided it was time for me to move on. I didn't fit there anymore. And I'd done a lot of work on myself at that point, a lot of it. And I moved along, but I knew it was going to be tough financially because, my husband has a really good job. I had a really good paying job.
You get used to living a certain way.
Right? But it felt so right. And staying was out of the question.
So wrong.
So wrong. That when I quit, even though we made some adjustments initially, it all fell into place. And within, I don't even know, I can't even remember the timeline. It feels like it was weeks, maybe months. We were right back up to where we were before financially and comfort level and everything. Awesome. It just all falls into place.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you decided you were going to leave your job, was it one of those, okay, at the end of 3 months, I'm going to leave, or was it one of those, walk in, I'll give him 2 weeks, I'm out?
Yeah, I came to a critical point.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just can't do this anymore.
Okay, and then you gave your 2 weeks. Like, I decided at one point that in 2014 I was going to work 2 more years, and then I was done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were like, nope.
Yeah, but it had been building though.
Right.
I wasn't happy there for a long time. So yeah, right? Yeah. So for me that's the way it happens though.
Right.
And I remember like one of the things that I see intuitively is a window that opens in my mind's eye. And I see this open window and I know that that's my time to go through that window.
So you dive through.
I do. I've learned that that's it, man. Things are in alignment. And it's not like things wouldn't have come back into alignment had I not taken those opportunities over my lifetime to manifest these things.
Right.
But at that moment, all those pieces were in place, and that was the opportunity to take action. And I did.
So you left your job.
Yep.
What did you do?
So my husband said, just settle in. It's going to take you a while to un-F yourself. He didn't use the word F. I'm like, okay, cool. So he was,
Totally
He's like,
supportive of
yeah.
you taking some time.
Totally supportive. And he said all along, he's like, you're retired now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was really fortunate there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know. I can't even put it into a timeline anymore. It's just been really beautiful. So I'm like a Reiki master, all that, right? I've got all these tools in my belt.
Okay,
right?
so that's a question though. Talk to us about the tools you have. You're a Reiki master. What other modalities are you trained in?
Reiki master. I work with the angels with light a lot.
Yeah,
so
you do.
light weaving, all that. Oh boy. Yeah, let's just call it those two for now because
Okay.
that feels like the totality of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I started working. I realized early on that like this combination of Reiki and light weaving was really powerful together. And so I started offering distance sessions with the little distance symbol for Reiki and sending it through my emotion. It was super effective. And that was cool, but I was in my little room, right? Sending out. And then somebody who has a really popular Facebook astrology group asked if he could interview me for their Friday night show because we had done a session. I reached out to him for an intuitive astrology session, and he's like, could I interview you? I'm like, okay. So I was nervous, but we did it, and it was on camera. And that, Judy, just like exploded. I started getting clients all over the world because, you don't have to be in the room with somebody to assist them.
Are you willing to share who that was?
Christopher Witecki.
Christopher Witecki.
Yeah, and the name of the group is called Namaste Today. It's a great group. So yeah, that's a really cool group.
So you got a lot of clients from all over the world then?
All over the world. Yeah, it was really cool to just find all these people and to be able to assist in that way. And then eventually
I was going to say, isn't it interesting that you found yourself alone and isolated again?
Oh, yeah. I didn't feel that energy though.
It's almost,
but it was
they're showing me like you
safe.
cocooning. Yes, you cocoon
Right?
before you butterfly.
That's so true. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Yeah. Right.
It's what I do.
Yes. That's a really good point.
Yeah. Oh, we're on again.
Oh, yay.
Okay. So we were talking about you doing distance work.
Yeah.
And cocooning, and now you're spreading your wings and working with people in person again. How did that evolve?
Support, guidance, and just one day I thought it would be really cool if I offered an angelic light weaving attunement, but I needed a place, right? Because my house wasn't big enough. So I reached out to this really cool studio. It's called Sacred Centers East, and they don't rent to very many people, but they were happy to let me come in and set up. And so I had there were a lot of people there. And I was so nervous sitting, in front of everybody. By the way, that was also one of my big dreams, was to run circles. So I put that out there. So that was my first time, and it went really well. And then I decided to do a few more, and then I decided to offer angelic healing circles there. And it was cool. It was really good. People loved it. But then I started to feel the pressure of, I got to get in at 9, make sure I'm out by this time. And so I thought, man, it'd be nice if I had some other place.
I wonder what Wendy did next.
So, a few other things happened in between, but, I woke up one morning, and we lived in our old house for 15 years. I woke up one morning, and I said to my husband, we gotta move. We owned the house. He's like, okay. So,
that's a great idea.
So we reached out to a friend and said, you wouldn't happen to know of a realtor in the area? And she's like, well, one happens to work for me.
Perfect.
So we got into contact with her. And from that morning, when I woke up with that feeling, it's time to go, it was 30 days until we looked for the house, found the house, made an offer on the house, went through all the inspections, settled on the house, and moved in. September 29th, well, okay, so it was slightly over, September 29th to October 31st last year. Wow. That's the whole span of time it took us for moving in here, where I can hold my classes and my circles right here in my own home, my own healing space.
So you just celebrated your 1 year anniversary of being here.
We did.
And you know, the funny thing is we had you scheduled for the show last year.
I know.
Around this time, and because of the house, we had to postpone.
That's right.
That's so
right.
cool.
That's
See?
so cool.
Because you were meant to be interviewed here.
Yes.
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay, so
Yeah.
you move in here. You
Mhm.
have, I mean, the home itself is beautiful, but
Thank
this
you.
space that you have created is just, I mean, you step down into your healing space and the energy just, I don't know. I feel like it wrapped me in a big old blanket of love.
Hey, thank you. We work really hard, me and my team of light, to keep it nice and pristine and beautiful and loving and clear and light and bright.
Well, you do a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it is evident, no doubt. So what services do you offer here?
So I started offering, because I needed to make a commitment, monthly angelic healing circles.
Okay, so explain to people what that is. What is that?
So people come in and we sit in this circle, and then we set the sacred space, and then the angels just channel whatever journey they want to bring through me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wander around and I do the angelic light work in, through, and around everyone, and it's all non-touch. And as I'm doing this work with the people that are here, I start to get images, see things and everything. And then once that journey is over and I bring everybody back into the space, right, consciously, then we go around the room and they share their experience. And as they talk about their experience, the angels and my team of light bring in so much more information. Whatever it is that they want, the angels want the person to know, guidance, anything like that. We talk about it, and then we go around the room, and it's just a very uplifting, clearing, healing time. And so that's the third Sunday of every month right here from 1 to 3, but I have a maximum of 10 people because I had 14 once, and the angels, I could hear them. They were like, "Okay, looks like we need to learn something here."
You better pack a lunch, lady. You're gonna need it.
Like, okay, guys.
I hear you. Max of 10.
Max
and
of
it
10.
fills up fast.
It
fills
does.
Up. Jen and I had the privilege of being here a couple months ago, and
So
it is
great
amazing.
that you guys
It
were
is
here.
amazing. And it doesn't
Such a gift
stop
you were
when
here.
you leave here.
No, it doesn't.
The energy continues to flow
Right?
and work through. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
I love it so much, and I'm really grateful that the angels were really clear with me. This is a commitment that you're making. You're in service to the light. Let's go.
Yep,
Let's
do
make
it.
it fun. And so I did. And then a few months ago, I got the information that it was time. I'm learning a lot more about myself and like what I'm supposed to do here. It feels like. So I got the information that it was time for me to offer an angelic ascension mastery gathering / class. I'm like, whoa, that's big. And then like that ego part of me is like, no, not me.
I can't do that.
And I'm like,
We only been
Is
working
what
with
we're
the
doing.
masters since middle school, but whatever.
man, right? So all of a sudden, and it was very fast, the very first one, the information came in, I got myself into alignment, connected in, wrote some stuff out, put the information out there. I think I posted it on my Facebook page on a Monday, but that it was going to be on Thursday. I'm like, are you sure, guys? This is very short notice.
Right.
It was fine. People came, they adjusted their schedules, and that is a really powerful gathering. It's like a mini workshop. There's so many layers to it, and this is every month as well. The angels bring in the ray that we're gonna be working with. We're working with the 7 sacred rays, and then it's gonna go beyond the 7 sacred rays. And and it's not exactly like the angelic healing circles that we do, because there's not all the intuitive work. We're focused on one ray specifically. And the angels just come in and they do their work, and everybody really likes it.
Okay, so that's one Thursday a month.
Yeah, that's the first Thursday every month from 6:30 to 8:30.
Okay, and then the in-person angelic healing circles are the third Sunday.
The third Sunday of every month, and that's in the afternoon from 1 to 3.
Okay, now back to your Thursday. Do you have to sign up for all of the classes, or can you come when you can make it?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, the angels are really clear. The work that we're going to be bringing in is going to be specifically tailored to the gathered group. I don't know which ray we're going to be bringing in beforehand.
Okay.
They let me know. So I just got to like lean back into it and give up that control, right? Because there's
but
a
I need
theme
to be prepared. But I need to be prepared.
Exactly. So yeah, you can just come whenever you feel the hit to come. The thing is though, like they are maxed out each and every time.
Fills
I'm
up
so
fast,
grateful. Yeah, it fills up
That's
fast.
so fantastic.
But you know, it all works out. If you're supposed to be here, you will be here.
Yeah.
And then who knows, maybe they're gonna have me start offering them like another one as well.
I'm shooting for weekends. I'm gonna manifest that. Okay, so you've talked about you're a Reiki master and light weaving. Do you teach any of those classes?
I have never taught Reiki.
Okay.
Even though I could. I think that being a Reiki master for me was to just really fill in all of that energy work that I needed. So I'm not saying I'm never going to, but it just doesn't feel like that's what I'm going to do. I do teach angelic light weaving classes.
Okay.
The workshops, we go beyond that as well. We teach, other classes. So yeah, I'm just gonna settle in.
You're moved to do whatever it is you're guided.
That's
to
right.
Offer.
And it comes in fast, and I move fast. I've learned to move fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Now the unique thing about your angelic light weaving, there are a few of us that teach that.
Yeah.
And do the attunements, and that's I know the 3 others of us that do that, me, Jen, and Lloyd, is all in person. Yeah. You offer it in person, but you also do distance.
I do,
which is really cool. So it opens you up to people all over the world.
Yeah.
I know when we started the Anchors of Light page, I reached out to you to see if it was okay to endorse you on that page.
Oh yeah.
Because, you are the one that uniquely does it distance. So that's super cool. And I'm feeling like we might need to do a little burst on Anchors of Light again to promote that. Because a lot of people ask us a lot of questions about it when we go to chi meetings and meetups and things like that. They ask a lot about what it is and how they can learn.
Yeah.
And then when we tell them, in blah, 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 they're like, oh, that's so far to travel. Yeah. So we always drop your name, but maybe, especially after this, we can refer them to the interview so they can check you out.
Cool.
Kind of check out your energy like you used to doing your surveillance job.
Exactly. Exactly. It's all about that meshing. Yeah. I mean, my first distance attunement for light weaving, one of my clients lived in New Zealand.
That's so awesome.
She's like, it's 5 o'clock here, but I'm here. I'm like, yes, you are, you awesome being of light, you. And so, it's great. It's really good.
Okay, so people are watching, they have fallen in love with you, they want to reach out to you. How do they do that?
So my webpage is thelightoftheangels.com. It's all spelled out appropriately. There's no funny symbols in there or anything like that. Just thelightoftheangels.com. They can reach me there. I have a Facebook page, which I think is Angelic Light Weaving, but I'm not sure because the page doesn't, I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
When you posted this morning, I think it's on the Light of the
The
Angels.
light of the, is that what it
Light
is?
of the
Okay.
Angels, yeah.
Maybe it's that little at thing and afterwards,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
yeah.
Maybe.
So there's that. And I also offer in-person private sessions.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Now, can they find information about that on your website?
On my website, yep. And I also do remote sessions on
Nice.
Zoom and all
Excellent.
that stuff. So yeah, it's all that information is on my website.
Now, are you doing any? I know you don't do a lot of shows anymore, or I don't know that you did a lot of shows before.
Right?
Yeah. Are you doing? I know you just finished one.
The Autumn Goddess
There
Retreat
you go.
here
You
in
love
Valley
that one.
Forge. Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah. Are you doing anything else?
I don't have anything like that on the calendar.
calendar. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they bring it to me and they illuminate it, and I'm like, okay,
I'm in.
so let's go.
All right.
But currently, I don't have anything like that set up.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I don't know why I'm guided to ask this, but would you ever think of taking your angelic healing circles on the road?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. I have. I've had people reach out to me because they gather a group of friends, and so I've gone to their space, and I've gone to other locations that are healing areas.
You know, like maybe
Yeah.
at Journeys.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
I
We
love
will be
it. I
talking.
love it. At Journeys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be
Just
awesome.
let me know.
Okay.
You know, because
Awesome.
yeah, it feels really good.
Okay. Now, at the end of every show, we ask our guest if they have any pearls of wisdom for our viewers. Like I mentioned earlier, it's been a tough year. People are struggling.
Yeah.
Energy's been a little brutal from time to time, feeling a little beat up. Do you have any pearls of wisdom for them?
You know, there's just so much. There's mostly I just feel like when things feel overwhelming, just take a minute and go into your heart center. Just bring your awareness into your heart center. Give that magnificent brain of yours a few minutes of rest. And just feel around in your heart. And call on the angels to help you because they're right there.
They're like, hello?
Yeah. Right? They're right there. And they're always there. A lot of people feel like they're not with them. They are. It's just your awareness of them.
Right.
Ask them to help you.
Yes, and they will.
They will.
And they may not help you in the way you think you need to be helped.
Angelic
That's the biggest thing.
override, man. Angelic override is a thing.
Yes, they will do
Yeah.
what is for your highest and greatest good,
Yeah.
not what you think.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, that's really it. Just
All right.
take some time to go within. Ask for the help that's there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
You're
joining us today. This
welcome.
has been so much fun. You are our
Thank
first
you.
recorded show. You are
Yay!
you are our first step to podcasting.
I'm glad I could be your gateway.
Yes, me too. I love
Aw.
the gateway. Gateway instead of guinea pig. I love it.
Oh my god. Oh, you're so funny. Oh my god.
If you have any questions for Wendy, feel free to post them in the comments below after you watch the show. And Jen, myself, and Wendy will pay attention and answer any questions we can for you. So thanks for joining us. This is going to be a fun ride to see how this all begins to unfold and evolve. And don't forget you're awesome.